Hi, how you doing? Okay, so this video is about my um, athletic background, not the story of boo-hoo me. I was never good at sports, but I was tall. I'm 6'3", so everybody expects me to be good with sports. You've all heard all that boo-hoo and stuff, but like what I would describe myself as athletic. That's part of why I'm skinny. 50 years old and I'm still skinny like a teenager would be. I've done lots of walking. First off, I've had a car less than half of my adult life. I've had a handful of cars on and off added up. It's less than half of my adult life. So I spend a lot of my adult life on the bus, and but that's not where I've done most of my walking. I've just done more walking than a person normally would. I enjoy walking, but I've done more walking, never mind, blah blah. Moving on. Okay, so you heard me say my dad. I'm just going to really quick mention a handful of things that I've already mentioned before in other videos because what I want is that the way it would be relevant to someone that hasn't didn't know that yet. Oh my gosh! Perhaps I should have premeditated what I was going to say. Please bear with me. I'm trying to hurry. My dad played college football when I was a baby. My dad would have been a college football player. I remember he was a ref after that. He just like my dad's like way into sports, especially at home, which is where I was. So like there was I grew up with there's pictures of me with my dad's ref whistle, and his referee outfit, and he was a referee. He was a college football player. He was always the person that would raffle. Who wants to bet? It is company things. On the Super Bowl, and he's just like and everything. It was against the rules to watch anything else if there was football on TV. So I grew up watching football, and I wanted to watch cartoons, but I enjoyed watching the football. I always wanted to be an Eagles fan, but I thought I had to have the same favorite team as my dad. But now I'm an Eagles fan, yeah, because I've grown 3 times over or something like that. But anyway, okay, so growing up, I played baseball. So I was expected to play football. My dad played. He would we'd go around the neighborhood and find boys that want to play football games. And we'd play football games. My dad would say, now we're gonna do the play called the American flag. You go over there and fake this way. I just grew up around lots of football, like the first, until I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. By 8, 9 years old, I finally would realize I didn't like football, and I liked baseball, and I was already playing baseball because I sucked at basketball. For some reason I always would get hit in the nose because I was tall. People, I guess they didn't know how to pass. I was always way taller than everyone else. I'm 6'3". I was already done growing when I was 14. Okay, so anyway, I was no good Little League baseball. I did play Little League basketball for 1 year, but it all started for me when I used to get bullied between 4th grade and 6th grade, and so how I beat that was I started watching Rocky movies. I started drinking raw eggs in the morning and doing push-ups and running a mile. It was exactly a mile from my school to my house. So if I ran home, that was a mile run. So I would just run home because everybody else's parents would drive them home. My mom and dad didn't believe in that. They're like, "Oh, you can walk. It's just a mile. That's nothing." So then I would run, because it's a mile run. That's considered a lot. And bullies usually wouldn't run that far. Okay, so just Rocky came out around that same time, and I just loved it. Rocky was like part of my DNA and everything. My mom also was an aerobics instructor. She did like the Jane Fonda aerobics, and was like the person up in front. And at the same time, my sister had a blood disease, so the side of me that's into just what I'm really into is sports, the nutrition, and things like that. Like a team could hire me to design the diets for elite diets for the athletes type thing. I would be exactly the person that could do that. That's where I learned that from my mom. At the same time, I tried her aerobics, but I didn't have the coordination, and it wasn't really as relevant as pretending like I was a boxer. So then years later, I'd be a single parent. You know, I was a stay-at-home parent, and then she went that way and left me for someone else type thing, and then I was a single parent. You know, and I raised my son. He's already grown now and out of the house and everything. But while I was a single parent, what I'd do is at 10 o'clock when I put my son to sleep, then it was like my own little world I would go into, you know. And at first I would drink alcohol, you know, but then eventually I just reignited my whole Rocky thing, and I turned my whole living room into a gym. You know, I had like a bench press here and with a leg curl thing on it, and punching a heavy bag, you know, and I had a jump rope, and my gloves, where are they? They're around here somewhere, and everything, and so I would just pretend like I was training for boxing. One really cool thing is Herschel Walker does like tons of push-ups, like 1,000 push-ups and things like that, and I just thought that would be. I want to be the kind of person that can do that. So I said out loud on not said out loud on Facebook, but I put on Facebook, you know, I'll bet you I can do 1,000 push-ups in one day, and then a friend of mine, to my surprise, says, he said, "I'll race you," and so we raced, and the first day neither of us could do it. We made it to like 800, I think it was, or something, and we were pretty much just neck and neck the whole way. And then we the very next day we tried again. You know, we didn't even want it. We wanted it so bad we didn't even rest. And the next day we did it, and he beat me, and by just a little bit. We were pretty much neck and neck, and then he beat me to 1,000, and so I did an extra 100. So I did 1,100 push-ups. So then after that I was like, oh wow, I can do 1,000 push-ups in one day. So then I made it part of my workout. So every Sunday I would do 900 push-ups. So for a whole part of my life, I'd do 900 push-ups on Sunday, and then on Wednesday, that's when I would do like bench press and flies and blah blah blah. You know, a chest workout with weights. And when for that body part, and I'd work out my other body parts too. But yeah, so lifting weights and sports nutrition are probably the two subjects I know the most about, you know. So my workout was really cool. One more thing just from my past. So as far as being tall, I just didn't have the coordination. It really wasn't the coordination, as it turns out. It was I just didn't understand the sports. It was pretty much because I was too stupid, you could say. But it wasn't because I had to be that stupid. Stupid is as stupid does kind of thing. It's just that I didn't really understand, like football, for example. I didn't understand football, you know, but that's not like that's impossible, you know. And I did like football. I had a helmet and pads. I had 2 helmets and 2 pads, actually. And so when I was in 6th grade, they had this thing where you jump. No, you reach your hand up and you put a mark, and then you jump. So it doesn't matter how tall you are, and see who can jump the highest. Because if your finger, your mark is here, then when you jump, you take that distance, and you know. So and I jumped the highest out of the whole 6th grade, which would be the whole school, And then when I was sometime in junior high, 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, the high jump where you go over your back on the bar and you land on the pad under there, we did that test, and ding, 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 the bell rang, and the coach held me after because he'd put it up a little higher, and if you let me try a few times, I would do it. And he's like, oh wow, let's just see how high you can go. I'll give you an excuse pass type thing. I just got to see this. And I got the 2nd highest. There was one person that got higher out of the whole junior high. So I've always been athletic. I've always been super, what people would describe as too skinny. I've always been very skinny, but very tall. And it's because I didn't hang out with humans. I hung out in the mountains. I would spend whole days alone in the mountains with my dog, which is really kind of strange for a little kid, you know. But that's the mountains, going up and down mountains and climbing up things and almost slipping and climbing back up and grabbing the branch and oh no, the branch breaks and just some of those kind of things. Like it was really super physical. The mountains are super dangerous and it takes a lot of energy to do things and go places and stuff. And you know, so anyway, so yeah, so also in junior high we had a push-ups test, and I got over 100 because all the tough kids had 100. It was not because I was tough enough, and I knew that. I just wanted it that bad, and I realized that you can, you know, you can tell your body what to do. So when I used to jog, when I was make believe and I was training for boxing, I would out jog because you know that's what fighters do. It's because if you're in that kind of shape, it's a different kind of shape. It's a tougher kind of being in shape that you would need to have that edge to be good at boxing. And but it's horrible. I hate it. I hate jogging. I hated every second of it. But with discipline, you can make yourself do it. You know, and I understand that. Not everybody even can understand that. You know, so you can see I have an athletic side. It just you have to work with me as far as understanding the game. I understand baseball. I understand basketball. Football, I'm learning. I'm like liking football. It's obvious. Obviously, it's going to be a thing of my future. You know, kind of strange. I always wanted to like football. I was just thought I was too stupid, but now I realize that I'm never too stupid. Really. Yeah, I suck. Also, think I'm too stupid at math. But if I had some reason to want it really super bad, I just practiced and practiced and practiced. I bet you I could actually even get good at it. Because it seems like every time I want to do something, I can, as long as I want it bad enough. You know, so that's just the mind of an athlete, isn't it? So I understand athletics. You know, so that's why I have favorite teams in every sport. I used to play hockey when I was a kid. You know, I invented my own sport when I was a kid. I didn't play. It wasn't on a league. Just with my cousins, we get a roll of electrical tape, and we had some skates and some pucks, and blah blah blah. There's probably more stuff I'm forgetting, you know. But yeah, I'm just never. When everybody's being super knowledgeable, I'm not even. They don't even let me talk because it's just too obvious. So they're like, "Oh my hell." And you have something to say that's ridiculous, you know? It's obviously going to be something basic that we already know, and it's not practically interrupting the conversation type thing, you know? Like, they're just, everybody's way ahead of me when it comes to almost everything imaginable as far as knowing and blah, 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 and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I kind of suck, but it's genuine, you know? That's what. I spent mostly sports nutrition, you know, especially I cooked for the Weber State football team for one summer. I cooked food for them. So I've even done it before. But I could have if I picked the menu, I could have picked way healthier choices. If I was in charge to feed the team, yeah, they would get elite meals, top of the line elite meals.